of performing things that has a history of now, like telling about society today, and it doesn't have to be political or but somehow that this art form reflects society today and what is actually going on in our lives, instead of just perform pieces that has been performed so many times before. And I have been working a lot with composers and created a lot of solo repertoire, also with electronic composers for flute and electronics. And at some point I was like, okay, now I performed so much new music and I've collaborated so much with composers, so maybe I should just start writing things down myself. So because I know my instrument way better than anybody else, it's fun for me to present the flute in a different way, and so now it's getting crowded. Hello. So music has a lot of things to offer. You can be a storyteller, you can create new spaces, new rooms of sounds, and especially with new techniques also. I find it really interesting to work with how I can tell my story through new techniques and different ways of playing the instrument. So, Mikkel, do you want to say?
Yes, I am Mikkel, playing the classical guitar in NJYD. And when I was younger and also studying at the academy in both Cologne at the Hochschule for Musik and in Denmark, in Aarhus and Copenhagen, I was really focusing a lot on playing solo repertoire and went to few competitions to try to, make it as a solo guitar player. And also was lucky enough to win some big competitions, but kind of got tired of that and of the solo repertoire and playing the same pieces that the other guys, my colleagues, played. So I started to work a lot with composers from Denmark to premiere new pieces, and I found it really nice to be able to bring something from Denmark when I was abroad playing, let's say in Germany or England, Sweden, Norway, Poland, to bring something from my country that was repertoire that I didn't know of. So I started to collaborate a lot with composers, and now I'm mainly playing chamber music, a lot with these guys in NJYD. I'm also playing a lot in a guitar duo, where we are commissioning pieces by mainly Danish composers. And then I play in a guitar sextet, where we also have to commission new pieces because there's not so much music written for a guitar sextet. And then I'm doing a lot of freelance with different ensembles like Senatet or other ensembles in Denmark. So I'm just curious and always trying to have fun when I play, and really enjoying to meet young composers and develop music and play the music and work on new ways of producing music. Also really enjoying to perform without my instrument, but using my body or using other instruments. I think it helps me to develop as a musician when I play the classical guitar also, that I have used a lot of time working on other projects. Because I have to think in another way when I'm using, for example, the body as an instrument. And I can use this also when I play classical repertoire again, once in a while, because it's a more performative way to do it. So it's a nice combination of doing a lot of new things and developing stuff in Denmark, and then combine it with some old stuff I have done for 25 years. Yes, and this is my good friend Jonas, who's playing the percussion. Yesterday we had some really good wine here in Krakow. It's an amazing city you have, I must say. I really enjoy it.
Yes, thank you, Mikkel. So I would like to talk a bit about more the theatrical side of being a percussionist, because I'm also classical trained in Aarhus, and during my soloist diploma, I must say I was very curious about this, going into this theatrical world of being a percussionist. So I have, of course, been training a lot of classical music. Meanwhile, up to this master degree, but yeah, for example, I played this piece by an American composer called Stuart Saunders, which has written songs. I think it's 13 songs, which is small movements, or you can even call them. Yeah, you can even call them small texts, which, as a performer, I have to recite. So I started in Germany, in Freiburg, for half a year, where I have a teacher and professor, which was pretty much into this theatrical stuff also. So he recommended me this piece, and there I learned to be a natural actor. You have to really find out the meaning of the words in that piece. So I have, for example, one place I have to say sound. So the word I use, the sound, the S vocabulary. It's, yes, I have to make the same sound. I have to decide myself which sound do I like the most on the instrument. So for example, I have to really listen for the S at the beginning of the word, and then also the So how to make this? Yeah, on the drum. Maybe a deep sound in the end, so producing this sound. Yeah. So for me, this piece has developed me as a performer as well, because here you really have to find out why this word, or why do I have to choose this kind of sound. So yeah. So I have been studied in Freiburg, and as well in Aarhus, of course, for many years, and I really enjoy improvise with you guys in a group, as well as I do my soloist stuff. And also I have a duo with another percussionist, where we also have been doing quite a lot of these theoretical pieces, rather than just playing on our instruments. So yeah, and I think for right now we will improvise a bit more before we go on to the next session of our talk.
Yes. That's yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, so that's a little improv. Thank you. Did you ever do? Of course, you're a jazz guitar player. You probably do improv. Do you do a lot of? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, but this not like this.
Not exactly, not in this convention.
No. So, did anyone else do this kind of free improv thing, or you just have? There's no rules at all. No one.
We did some.
Oh, you did some. Ah, very nice. Hello,
I am
welcome
also
in.
playing free improv.
You
This
also
is
play.
Kuba. Kuba is a cellist of Spółdzielnia Muzyczna. He's great improviser.
Ah, okay, nice. Okay, great. We just did
I'm sorry.
a little improv. Yeah.
Kuba.
Did it. Yes. So, and you that came a little bit. Of course, now I know we have some composers, some instrumentalists, some music theory. What?
I'd say electronic music.
It's
So-
electronic music. Yeah. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
dabble.
some kind of
Yeah.
improvisation there.
Of course. Yeah. Cool. And what do you study?
Here I'm studying knee fiddles. It's like ethnic instruments.
Ah, okay. Wow.
But I am like my ground. It's very like harpsichordist in early music. So I improvise, but mostly in the styles. And now with ethnic music, it's more like free and very interesting. I develop new things, but still like I'm not yet into such a free improvisation like you.
Yeah, but still a lot of improv. you
Yeah,
have to do,
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Very nice. Yeah. And what about you?
I am flute player, but not flute, baroque flute, what is called recorder. Yes, and I am on the early music department, but I like another styles and even combine them and try to, I don't know, maybe make a little bit bigger these borders of early music and to go and do another styles, new ones, and also ethno, also folk, because I'm from Ukraine and it's very important for our nationality. Music is very important.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you play also a bit travesh. Yeah. So.
And I think there's a lot of connections actually from early music to what we do today. Maybe it doesn't sound the same, but the way of approaching the music a little more freely than classical, where everything is written down to every detail. So the mindset and the way of making grooves and is very similar in many ways.
Yeah.
So
I heard a lot of people also feel a connection. I know a lot of people that do early music and also do contemporary and also free improv.
Early
things.
music is very important because it
Yeah.
starts for for every style what was improved later after this.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
This
the
basic thing.
Yes.
It's very cool to learn it.
Several years ago, we had a great collaboration with Erik Bosgraf.
Yes.
He's a
I have
recorder player.
Okay. Yeah.
yes,
Cool.
very great professor, and
Nice.
I'm very proud that I can have some lessons, and he's very good in modern music.
Yeah,
Okay,
he also
yeah.
worked with us as composers.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
It's a nice project.
That's really really nice.
Mhm.
Sounds cool.
It also does harpsichord.
harpsichord,
Like-
Ghost recording. So
Wow.
it was like a duo from early music.
Cool.
But for new music.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then you just came. You played cello.
Yes.
Yes, and you do a lot of improv and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you feel about doing free improv?
I like it, especially with a group of people which I know very good, because we have some kind of esoteric connection between us, or in big groups, like bands of which Lotte Anker used to.
Oh, Latak, yeah, you know, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, but I share my time half to half between contemporary classical and improvisation.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Nice. Really, really cool. And someone else. You are also new. Sorry, now I'm.
You're very new to us.
Sorry, because for my late.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm
Yeah.
studying here guitar music and organ.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I don't have free improv.
But in organ music, you of course also.
Yeah,
Have to-
but always it is in style.
Yeah. So you have the rules.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So free improv, no, maybe as a experiment, as some fun. But when the public during the mess, for example, no, it can be some problems with that.
But yes, I definitely think you should explore. Maybe not when there's people in church, but or yes.
Can be something different.
No, but I think it also for us. Like we said yesterday, we started actually as a larger improvisation ensemble called
Comma.
yes. And then we decided that we wanted to split out and become four people, which would do both improv and score-based written music, as I said before. And one of the reasons why we started the improv is also a little bit because, I remember maybe when I was 15, someone told me, just improvise. And I'm like, I don't play jazz. And, like you have these thoughts because you are these classically trained musicians, right? From quite a young age. And then you have this tendency to just freeze a bit. And then, of course, you can play free improv. Everyone can do some free improv. You just have to practice it also. You just have to do it many times as everything else.
But I think what we just did, you say it's different because you have rules, but we kind of have our own building stones. And somehow we also have a style together as a group. So I don't think it's that different. It's just...
we have some unwritten rules.
We have some
Some,
unwritten rules,
vibes.
but it's
Yeah.
also a lot about listening and reacting, and of course,
Yeah, I think when we started out in this comma, we had established some rules. I talked about it yesterday a bit about how long should we agree on the improv to be. Should there be any development, and which kind of development should it be? Should it be exponential, like going up and abruptly end, or should it just have a curve and going down again? So all these kind of rules or settings before we going into the improv. That's how we practice it in the beginning. But now, as you mentioned also, we know each other more and more as a different person. So we can do it more intuitively,
Yeah,
more
it
like,
definitely. Yeah, like you said, like if you know someone well, it
But
really.
Also, you have to practice it. I have
Yeah.
trio, and we are practicing things, like that. Now we are playing for 5 minutes something like bullets, and then it's 3-minute transition to something other. And it's when I am playing at some kind of jam session, free impro, there is always a lot of mess.
Of course, yeah.
That's my experience.
Yes, yeah, of course, there will always be a bit mess, but that's the fun. I'm looking into the camera, saying that. Yes.
But it's also always about giving space. I mean, the music also live in the empty space after, so that you have time to reflect on what was there.
And you have to remember that your partners should have their own spaces too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's this thing about, yeah, and you have to exercise this, or exercise, you don't say. Rehearse it. Yes, or you can also exercise if you want. No pressure. Yes, but does anyone feel when I say this thing about like I can't improvise? Who feels like this is something you can recognize? You? Yes.
I think it's something
Monica learns something new. No.
because
Yeah.
when Monica said about our improvisations,
Yeah.
it started mainly during the pandemics, and
Yeah.
it started between us.
Yeah.
So we just explore some devices like synthesizers,
Objects and
Yeah,
objects,
cool.
tape
Yeah.
loops,
Yeah.
and then we play the concerts for public. But first, especially as with composer background, going to public is something extremely scary. But
Of course, yeah.
okay, are we playing? How are we playing? What about the rhythms? What about the precise?
You're just-
Yeah, so there's, but yeah, important I think is to start and maybe to be calm, and not to worry so much.
I think also sometimes it can be nice with rules.
Yeah.
To begin with, and we did that also a lot in the beginning, also with just a graphic score or whatsoever, because then you have something to commit to, and you have maybe something, a line from a book or whatever, a mood, a character that you can reflect on, and this makes it maybe easier to begin improvisation. And we use it also a lot when we are teaching younger kids, younger musicians in music schools. Every year, we talked about this also yesterday, every year we have this collaboration with a quite big and important festival in Denmark called Spor. It's for contemporary music, and we are kind of mentors for young musician composers, and we use the improvisation a lot when we have to teach them to compose something new. And for them, sometimes it's extremely new and weird and difficult, but then they actually explore the instrument in a new way, because they have been used to maybe going to guitar, let's say for 5 years, learning to play a couple of chords and melodies from notes, but now they can suddenly just play more freely and play different notes they never played before, or find out, okay, this is also a sound, or this is a sound, and this is a sound.
Is it okay? No.
So and so this has been extremely useful for me also. I think also when I'm teaching in a music school, I try really to use improvisation also sometimes, because it's a nice way of being creative. And like you say, you can play classical scores or contemporary music, but then for these kids it can be extremely fun to just do something different. So we have used it also a lot in these periods.
Yeah.
But of course it's nice to have maybe a few rules to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think at one point when we started out, we also used the composer Cornelius Cardio has made a book with different
treaties.
Yeah, treaties. Yes, and we also took just one random page and played something from there. So that's a good example of a more abstract piece or graphic score for us.
Yeah, I
But
think
we also
graphic score is a good way to get started into it, because then you have something to hold on to. So great.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of course, in the beginning, it can be quite smart to have a graphic notation of some sort, or just anything which shows us musician a guideline, and then again later on we'll be more free and more by feeling. We will improvise with each other. Yeah.
Mm. Anyone that has any comments or thoughts about this improvising thing, or something they want to ask us regarding it?
I think we kind of have this feeling from the other side where we are imagining the score. So we are kind of improvising in our minds with the instruments. So we can kind of connect, but from the other side. So that we should test every instrument, but actually imagine it, because we don't have the instrument usually with us. But it's kind of a rehearsal in the mind to practice on instruments virtually. So this is also kind of a pre-improv in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, so this was a little bit like about us as improv ensemble, or quartet, or just something band. Yes, and as we talked about yesterday, we do a lot of this, and we do a lot of collaborations with composers like Monica Pavel. We're playing pieces by them tonight at 6 o'clock, and then we also do a little like other collaborations where we have larger pieces written, which has been our focus the last years, to have these not only these 10 minutes pieces, but these 45 minutes pieces, and like maybe also several projects with the same composers.
And cross aesthetics with
a lot of
performance and media and other things too.
Yeah, so we really want to, of course we want this heritage of the this instrumentation repertoire to be able to be played by others as well, but then it's also nice to do something that is written for us, more like a band is our music in a way, that only we can do, which is, as we said, is a dilemma, because it's of course very, very nice for us, because we really, really get into it. It's written to us because the composers knows us so well. They know exactly what Marie can do and what I can do, what Jonas Mikkel can do, right? Or what we can't. And might not fit or might not be possible for another group or other people.
But also kind of challenging the border of what is a concert, and because it's often becoming more of a show, you have lighting, you have performance, you replay weird objects, and so it's, in a way, it's a lot more than just a concert.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
things. Yeah.
But tonight, what you will hear is 4 pieces. Or maybe you're not coming. I'm just assuming. No, but
tonight.
Yeah, so tonight. Let's talk about it.
When we see you tonight.
No, but tonight we're playing 4 pieces, which is approximately around. Some are 7 minutes, and one is 15 minutes. It's like a little bit different. And with Pavel's piece, let's just talk a little bit about your piece. For example, with your piece, we're playing, of course, our instruments. But Marie, if you can give me this. Yeah. And then I'm playing also on my other saxophone, my most expensive one, actually. Yes. So I don't know if you want to say a little bit about the idea of these 2 different worlds in your.
Yeah. So I was thinking that there is a world of your high instruments, but the music could be produced with chip tones, with lo-fi beats, and those toy instruments. But on the other hand, they're also extremely interesting. For example, this is the only polyphonic saxophone I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it plays chorale later in the piece. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing saxophone.
Beautiful. It also
Yes.
looks cool.
It looks. I like the colors.
Also, I want to
Yes.
encourage Marie to play recorder, but this super cheap recorder.
Do you have it here now?
I have it somewhere. It's made from
Like
plastic.
we know this
It's made
from
from
the
plastic.
primary school. Yeah, we all
Yes.
play.
Also, it is kind of trauma for every musician that starts with this in kindergarten with this recorder. I never learned to play it. It was also the
I
opportunity
started
for me.
like
I
this.
remember the fun thing was to kind of press your fingers really hard on the holes and get
Yes.
That was the fun.
That was the fun.
Yes.
But also, for example, Jonas is playing drum machine, but normally drum machine plays sequences that they are pre-recorded or programmed. And for me, it's interesting that he has super fast rhythms, but play on this electronic device, which goes into its boundaries because we are using so fast communicates that it's almost getting distorted. It's almost like glitchy one because Jonas plays so fast. And for me, this contradiction that something cheap could be beautiful, or it's also kind of, I think, aesthetically important that we could reconsider what is the importance of music and what is also importance of the music that you play on the instrument, because then we are going more into some noisy but also still very very soft stuff that those cheap instruments are in fact much louder, but they have only short excerpts and short fragments because they are always interrupted by your playing larger sequences on the let's say professional instruments. So that's the piece. It's called Import Export, and I was also thinking how those instruments are coming from China, how this of course global market works, how we are feeling about the late capitalism, how it surrounds us, how it a bit destroys us, and maybe it's also about finding something beautiful in those tons of cheap multiple generated plastic elements. So it's important also that we are using the same, because the piece was premiered 3 years ago and we are still using the same saxophone.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a bit more squeaky. No, you can't hear it now.
But now it's even, I think, more beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good instrument. Everyone.
Colorful.
It's made from
Christmas
silver,
gift.
as
Yes.
you can see.
Huh?
Made from silver.
Yeah, very silver. Yes. Quite expensive.
Who did create this instrument?
Yeah.
Yamaha.
Uh,
New version.
Yes,
Upgrade.
the new what do you call it? Experience. Yes. No, but it's great. We look very much forward to playing your piece.
yeah, I hope it was nice rehearsal.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking forward.
Yeah. So, thanks, Pavel, for sharing about your piece
Thank you.
with us today. And maybe now Monica wants to say
Yeah.
a little bit about what we're doing in your piece.
Yeah, so it's actually from the other side of capitalism, but quite maybe we can find some elements as well.
Yeah.
So it's actually it is called sustainable music, attempt one, because it's kind of a attempt to the larger piece that will be a debut concert. But this is like a kind of an attempt to this sustainable music. That I was actually working earlier on kind of recycling my own music. So the kind of first part of this piece will be was actually made of pieces by my own, but collected in a new way. And I also use some sustainable objects like mason jars and some solar lamps. So actually we will be playing without electricity, only the electricity that is coming from the sun. So you will see like two types of lamps, like lanterns and these standing lights that will appear in the piece. So actually the main idea is to emit as low CO2 as possible. We will see how it works.
Yes, maybe we will.
Yeah.
Emit a
not
lot.
in a maybe like a perfect way, but still there is a kind of an attempt to that.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of like playing on these jars. That will be the second part, on focusing on some kind of meditative rituals on these zero waste objects. So that is the main point of the piece.
Yeah.
So and it will be purely acoustic, so without like I said, electricity, so no amplification. We will focus only on acoustic sounds from objects and from instruments. So it will be also kind of a low dynamics piece.
Yeah. Maybe we can just show like a little bit, because we also feel it's very harmonizing with us. Also, like this low
dynamics.
Low dynamic. It's very nice feeling. Maybe we can just show. It's just air. Sometimes you have this inhale, exhale. This kind of. Yeah, that's a little. This is like your aesthetic.
You had
the
mood.
Yeah. So very for me and for us, very calming music to play.
Organic also to play, yeah.
Very organic. So it really fits your your idea. Yes.
Idea.
Yeah. So thanks so much for telling us about your pieces. We're looking really forward to playing it. We just want to talk a little bit about the two other pieces we're playing. For example, we're playing a very interesting piece by a Danish composer and organ player, Morten Ladehoff. I think he had a piece in Warsaw Autumn last year, or no, maybe I don't know. There was a festival last year, no?
It was.
I don't remember. Corona has.
It was, but it was like transmitted and.
So he's mostly an organ player, but he also writes music.
I think I will just pass this on.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So I will take this, and he loves to build his own instruments. Is the idea? Yeah. I will take this. Of course, this is maybe not building your own instrument, but this is one of his ideas to have a lot of these balls in here.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And this is yours?
Yes.
Jonas?
Skal du bruge? Jeg tror ikke, jeg skal bruge det.
Jeg tænkte, jeg skal blåse den op. Okay, so this is of course quite. I think you've seen this before. Yes?
No.
No?
This one.
Not exactly this one. Yeah, so Mikkel plays in some parts of the piece.
Yeah, and I also have these rotors.
Yeah.
They have to be fixed to some electronics, but then I can turn them on and off with this one, fixed on the guitar. So they're producing also some tones, similar to these ones.
Yeah, these produce a specific pitch, or at least the composer Morten wants to have F sharp for me. So it means I do not have to overblow this pipe, because then I will have a quite high pitch. It has to be very subtle. And a very calm and steady breathing. And also for this pipe, I will use like demonstrating this alter movement also. It has, by nature, it has this low G sound, pitch. So it has this kind of drone, but if I make it faster, it will go up to the D, and even a G, and so on. So here you can see the a grundtone. Sorry, my English is very poor.
Well, this is like one of the main instrumental parts about this piece. Is like using these small tubes. Yeah, you have two of the rotors, right? Yes.
Yeah, I have two.
And there's those. These are of course on different sides of the room.
Yeah,
so you
also
have
different pitches.
Yeah, also different pitches. Yeah, written here.
Yes.
The pitches.
It's a B.
It's a B. Yes. And then I have this. This is mine. And then I blow this up. And then this can be this is a very big balloon, so you can get very, very big.
Great.
And that's a bit more uncontrolled pitch, I have to say. Yes. Yeah, and Maria, you also have this that he made.
Yeah, it's a very fancy pedal.
It's a click track.
It's a click track. Yes.
Yes. And this one, I think we're missing some balls.
The balls are in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one makes a kind of bubbly sound that you also have.
Yes, because one of the other key elements of the piece is he has also two larger tubes, like these plumbing tubes, that are made into. One of the instruments are for me, which I blow into. It's like I think it's 110 in diameter, and then 1 meter high. What is 1 meter? Like here, maybe. Yes. And then I fill it a little bit with water, so it should be a tune E. And then when I blow in it, it of course bubbles a bit, and it's a bit similar to this bubbly sound here. Oh, I don't know if you want to call that bubbly. So that's one of my instruments as well. And Jonas also has a tube, which is longer.
The longest tube.
Very long tube. Yes.
And it's 2 meters and 2, I think, 2.2 meters. And I use this lid. It also has a specific pitch, low E, and when I use this lid, I use it like a form of ostinato in the piece, like 4 beats. So I put the lid, if we imagine I have the tube here, I put it on, this is the first sound, and then I adjust it down to the pipe, and then I plug it in and take it out again. So that's 4 individual sounds going jump, 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 out again. And the last note, the last one, creates this fundamental tone pitch, low E. So I think it's quite built on those ostinatos, all the way for these either in a high tempo or in a lower tempo.
Yes. So all of these things combined with our instruments going back and forth, playing. He's really into rhythms, rhythm changes, using the same rhythms, repeating the same rhythms, and then going into this which is a bit more landscape-ish, and then back to the rhythms, repeating the rhythms. Yeah, quite interesting, very fun piece to play as well. Right, Mikkel? You like it? Yes.
Demanding.
Demanding, yes. Yes. So I think that's yeah. I don't know if you have any questions about these instruments. Maybe you want to make some. Monica.
I can make a course.
We'll think about it.
Yeah.
It's very sustainable.
Is it?
Yeah. We can say that. Yeah. It was used in a different way.
Yeah. Yes.
Somewhere else.
Yes.
So maybe I have a question.
Yes, please.
When you started playing, because now lots of your projects involves playing objects
Yeah.
different than your instruments, or even as you
Without instruments.
without
Yeah.
instruments, like Jeppe.
Yeah.
And so my question is, how you feeling as a performer about it? And
For me, it's very freeing because I spent my whole life with this tube.
Just another tube.
It's just another tube. And of course, it's satisfying to be able to play something you practice and you know it and you can do it. But when you play an object, you approach it like a musician. You approach it like an instrument. But it's not like there's a whole 500, 600 history of how to rotate this one with 4 balls in it. So I can experiment freely, like, okay, I can go slower, I can go faster, change the sound, and it becomes kind of I'm more free to create the sound and collaborate with the composer and find the right sound. But it's not as it's not so much like playing right or wrong, or as we suffer a bit from, I think, as a classical musician. So yeah,
I think you have some good points, Maria. Yeah.
And yeah,
There's always problem with things like that when composer want you to stop the ball exactly in that moment.
yeah, but it's not possible.
I
because
know.
it has its own-
I tried to.
Yeah, it's not possible. And I mean,
Just take it.
I tried to learn my colleagues from my ensemble. I told them that Ricardo wrote it that way, so it should be possible to do, but it was impossible.
Yes.
you have to create the illusion.
I'm stopping.
Yeah, almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, great technique, Maria.
thank you.
Yes.
I practiced this a lot, you know?
in the airplane.
In the airplane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
I wonder how was it to travel with the 2-meter tube?
It was nice to have some friends who built me, give me a tube. Don't have to carry it.
No, but I mean, I think we feel quite the same as you with the, you're also when we talked about this composer Jeppe Ernst yesterday, who only writes like for the body, so he calls it like the body as an instrument. So all the movements we do, all the music we do is only with different movements or with eye musculators up and down,
But still
smiling.
written down strictly in a score.
Yeah, it's completely strictly written down. This is, an 8 note with a decrescendo, and stuff like that. He just writes very, very precisely, rhythms precisely written. And of course, it's learning a completely new instrument, which is freeing in a way. And you also learn a bit more about your body, how does it actually work, because we're not dancers.
And you experience
Or,
muscles you didn't know you had.
Yes,
and-
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting, and this is a part of what we want to explore even more with composers, why we want to have these stronger relationships with composers, not just this, here's a piece, goodbye. We want to really connect so that or we know, like, how to work together and what we can and cannot do. It's just the way forward for us, I think, to be open, free, try new things, not be afraid of breaking taboos or traditions, and
And just before, maybe could you tell us more, because this Jeppe Ernst example from yesterday, I think is kind of astonishing, and
yeah.
extremely more.
I don't know if the stream is still available now.
The series is available from
For
yesterday.
still,
yes.
yeah.
But
So-
could you tell us more
About Jeppe Ernst?
about the process of making this piece that is for your bodies, for almost without the sounds,
Yeah.
and like because it's like new way of performativity, I think, and I'm curious how you worked to develop this piece.
Well, of course, Jeppe, I don't know if any of you know Jeppe Ernst, Copenhagen-based composer. But he, of course, wrote a lot of music now for the body, so he's starting to know what's possible and what isn't possible with a lot of people. But then some people can do things that others can't. And also what he loves is that bodies are so different, so people react so differently. So he doesn't care that even though we have the same movements, we can do it in a little bit different way because it's so personal. This is our timber, our, you know, on the flute
it looks different because we don't have the same length of arms and the same body. But it's the same with the instruments. I mean, sometimes we imitate sounds, but it's different instruments, so it will sound different.
Yes. Hola.
Hello. Yeah, so here we, with the development for that piece, we used the mirror quite a lot to get the same movements together. And even though we had many sessions, individual sessions with Jeppe Ernst, we still needed to look at each other in the eyes.
Yes, of course, so many workshops with Jeppe, like individual, yes, and as a group, many workshops. And he's like, no, not like this, not like this, not like this. I want it to be like this. And then it's like these small things that for many people maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal. But he has made this whole language, like he wants the arm to turn like this, or to have something like...
some of the elements come back in other pieces, so it's like learning his instrument also in a way. And he is also, I think for me it can be challenging also because some of the movements are really against my personality, or like we have these really strong, almost hitting somebody, or so it and also it works with the interaction between us, like how does these movement affect the mood in the room and our interaction as a group.
I don't know, I don't have my computer with me now, but you can also show the video if someone has a computer.
You can find it on YouTube.
Yes, you can just see a bit of it on YouTube. I think some of you were here yesterday, so you have seen a bit of it.
Probably you could perform,
Oh, so yeah. Yes. Of course, this is a piece we know by heart with click track, so it's and it's a 25-minute long piece.
It's extremely fun to practice, but also extremely demanding for your
you
body,
get
because you have to know it by heart.
I don't know. Yeah, should we just show it like
when we use our instruments to learn something?
Or we could send it. I don't know if this is. You can just look a little bit. This is.
And the problem is we also have to play together as a duo, and it's different when you stand alone, trying to learn this by heart, trying to hit another person's hand. It's totally different than when you have to do it together.
For example, we have this.
We have this, and we have to do like this.
Yeah,
and then because she's doing something, I'm kind of reacting to that. So we have to use a lot of time also practicing together, because it should fit how we do it.
And you have to do it with your eyes closed.
Yes, with the eyes closed. Yes.
Yes, something like that. And but it's. I think for me it has a lot of emotions when we do it. It's like a story with characters. There's a point when, since we are playing together, I kind of feel that she's abandoning me in the ending.
I am.
She is.
And in another movie, she's sitting in front of me, and I'm doing something like this. So I kind of feel that I'm cutting her in two halves, because I have to do that. So I kind of think that I have laser in my arms and just destroying her. So it's a lot of, there's a lot of characters in these pieces when I do it, I think.
And when it becomes an instrument, it's a very different feeling.
Maybe you want to see a little bit? This is this piece.
Yeah, and I also noticed quite intuitively Mikkel, he produced a sound, even though there is no sound. Jum, jum, jum. So when we learn this by heart, we have this. I think it's much more easier for us to learn it by heart if we produce a sound, even though it's just movements.
In the video, I hear the click track because it's so much a part of the movement for me. So I immediately, when I see the video, I cannot,
Special. I think you should also some of them with us. We did lots of pieces by him, and it's very interesting. Someone here yesterday
because it's like super expressive.
Yeah.
Again, the dramaturgy is inside your moves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
yes. So yeah, I would advise to check him out.
Yeah.
It's very cool, very interesting.
Just a technical question, Jonas, have you thought as a percussion player this is easier for you?
Not really easier for me, because the pieces I learn, I also tend to memorize it more by audio than by movements. So
I think we were quite equally challenged.
Yeah,
to be honest.
equally challenged.
For some reason, yeah.
And when you have to learn it with a score, to do something like this can be so extremely difficult. And then when you know it, it's so easy.
Yeah,
but when you have
like
to learn
arm
it,
here,
look at the arrow
here,
down
and over,
here, and
down.
it's
Yes.
it's so difficult to do
Yeah.
it.
And then you know it.
Yeah.
It was never difficult, you think?
And this is like also playing Bach. It was so difficult to learn it, but then
Now you know it.
after 10,000 hours, now it's easy.
Yes, yeah.
It's the same feeling with the body. We are also playing.
We're forgetting to talk about the last piece. We're playing in the concert, which is Baura Gisladottir from Iceland. I think she also in Poland.
yeah,
Last-
during Warsaw Autumn. But
Yeah.
it was 2 years
Just
ago.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. She's very, very up and coming young female composer from Iceland. Lives in Copenhagen as well. Who wrote a piece for us in 2015. So it's a bit of one of our older pieces, which is about the sea, lots of multiphonics. I play very loud a lot of the time, and you are kind of accompanying me in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's more like a sound picture.
Yeah, it's a sound picture of the water, and then in the end, we're all drowning. Yes, it's like, and then probably we die. Yes, in the end.
Maybe.
Let's see. Well, it will be the first piece in the concert, so.
So we're already dead when it
Yes.
comes to the next one.
It's afterlife.
Yeah.
From the
Afterlife,
other
yeah.
pieces. Yeah.
But amazing soundscape, amazing colors. She thinks a lot about colors when she writes music. Like it's very. I think also for you, like this blue, of course,
Yeah,
the
and
sea,
a lot of
dark.
timbres and
Yeah.
variation in timbre. And
So it's very, very soundscape music. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
In percussion, there's only tam-tam.
It's only
It's
tam tam.
only tam-tam.
But until
but I
recently-
use a lot of different kinds of, like a toilet roll to make new overtones, produce new things, and also a bow and a triangle beater to screech, which maybe sounds like a seagull screeching.
Yeah. There are some
something
seagull sounds.
like the sea.
Yeah.
So that's
Ska vi sluta med något info? Jag ska
måske
bara...
en impro med nogle
Ja.
rules fra
Ja.
publikum.
So let's, as the end of this session, let's come with some suggestions. We will do like a little impro, and maybe you have some suggestions to some rules we should do. We do a small impro. Anyone has some rules? Only play loud, Anja. Okay, I can do it. Yes.
Only play 10 seconds.
Okay. No?
That was 2 rules so far.
And we read it. Yes, someone wants to come in the room.
Maybe you can mix all the material that you will be playing to
Oh,
Yeah,
very
that's my
interesting.
as a kind of trailer. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, let's do a little small improv.
I like that.
Yes, I also like that. Oh my god.
And we only have 10 seconds and it has to be loud.
Only 10 seconds?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was short.
That's a combination. Yes, so thank you for coming. If you have any questions to us, you're always welcome to ask these questions.
It's
And
now or later.
now
Or never.
or well,
Or
you have
never.
the internet, and we have a webpage, nudequartet.com, and you can write us emails if you have many questions. No, but if you want to find more about Danish, Norwegian, Swedish composers or improvisers, you can write us and ask, or just performers or ensembles and things like that. If you find this interesting,
We're
and
also on Instagram
we're also on Instagram
and Facebook.
and Facebook. Yes, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool Instagram.
Yes.
We're not on,
Instagram
not on
always
Snapchat. No, we're not on Snapchat.
No,
Yeah.
we're not on Snapchat.
Ah,
Yes.
No.
You're in charge of that one, Jonas.
I will
Yes.
find out by our next meeting.
So join our Instagram for good wine.
Good wine and
Chooses.
chocolate. Yes.
If you would like to know
Um,
where to eat in Krakow,
yeah.
you just follow our Instagram.
And something that doesn't have to do so much with us, but a little bit about what we're doing in Denmark, like promoting young composers and young musicians that wants to do contemporary music. Next, like in the summer that's coming now, from the 1st to 5th of July, I'm one of the co-creators together with James Black of a new festival called New Danish Music Academy, which will be a combination of composers and musicians playing contemporary music together, mostly for young, maybe that people that doesn't know so much about contemporary music, that have the possibility to work with bit more experienced musicians and composers. So it's like a mixed ensemble of experienced musicians and people that wants to learn more. So it's like it's not really like a teaching in this way. It's more like playing together and learn by doing kind of thing. And then also for composers that wants to attend with playing, but also writes music then and there, actually. So you can check it out, Danish New Music Academy. We have a deadline the 15th of December. So I think it could be cool to check out if you're interested, especially in the Nordic music, Nordic region, and want to meet some new people. Cool Danish people like Mikkel and Marie and Jonas. Yes, yes.
Experience the cold summer and
yes, yes, well.
it's lovely. Denmark is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, but thank you again. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. There you are.
It was really great.
Thank you.
In fact, it was different there again.
Yeah.
But I think this is the stuff when we are watching the recording after everything. Then we see something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. That
Thank
was
you.
really cool.
Thank you.
That was really-
Thank you.
I understand that you there was like a last questions and
You could ask
Yeah, you can
it's
ask
still streamed.
more.
You should ask now.
Is
Okay.
it open?
Yeah, just us.
no questions. No doubts. Maybe after the concert.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
Oh, yeah.
sure, yeah.
Then we have. So you know your schedule, but I just reminded the two papers.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I have it.
One są u pani, tam gdzie jest Jasia Czech.